Eating don't get you anywhere. Tell my daughter I'm home.
All right.
Father, you're not going, are you?
Got all kinds of business to attend to.
You're only going to sit alone in your room and do nothing, and you know it. Stay. Miss Billings here, and Mr. Hubstead's coming. It'll be interesting for you.
Nope. Got all kinds of business. Only reason I came over was the dinner. And it was very tasty.
Well, why don't you wait for Tom to get back? You only went for a little walk. Here, help yourself to an apple.
Nope. Wouldn't think of it.
Father, I wish you'd reconsider and move in with us. I often wonder if you're eating.
Oh, I get by.
That must be Hubstead. Come in.
Good evening, Captain. How are you tonight?
Peter, how nice. Please, come in.
Oh, Mr. Keel. Oh, Mr. Boy.
Your Honor?
I'll have to excuse him. He's terribly old. Wouldn't you care for some dinner?
No, thank you. I can't take spicy food in the evening. I fix my tea and my toast. Much healthier and more economical.
You make it sound as if Tom and I threw money out the window.
Not you, Catherine. He wouldn't be home, would he?
No, he went for a little walk. Come in.
Sorry I'm late. I was held up at the print shop.
Good evening, Hubstead.
Good evening, ma'am.
Homestead, on business, no doubt.
Hardly. It's about the article for the paper.
I knew it. I understand my brother has become quite a generous contributor to, what do you call it?
The People's Daily Journal. The doctor sometimes writes for the journal when he wants to uncover the truth about something.
The truth. Oh, yes, I see.
Hubstead, wouldn't you care for some
No,
dinner?
thanks.
I don't want you to think I blame the doctor for using your publications. After all, every performer goes to the audience that applauds him most. It's really not your paper I have anything against, Mr. Hofstede. Actually, I kind of admire the spirit of tolerance in our town. It's magnificent. But just remember that we have it because we all believe in the same thing. It brings us together.
Kirsten Springs, you mean?
The Springs, Mr. Hofstede, are wonderful new springs. They've changed the soul of this town. Mark my words, Kirsten Springs are going to put us on the map.
Oh, that's what Tom says, too.
On second thought, Catherine, I'd like some tea now. Everything is moving ahead. Real estate going up, money changing hands every hour, business booming. Give us one really good summer, and sick people will be coming in here by the carloads. The Springs will become a regular resort. And for once, the well-to-do won't be the only people paying taxes in this town.
I hear the reservations are really starting to come in.
Coming in every day. Looks very promising.
That's fine. Then the doctor's article will come in handy.
He's written something
Oh,
again.
no, it's something he wrote during the winter recommending the water. But at the time, I let the article lie.
Why? Some problem with it?
Oh, no, I just thought it would have more effect in the spring when people are planning for summer.
That's smart, Mr. Hofstede. Very smart.
Tom has so many ideas for the Springs. Why, every day he goes down into his laboratory.
Well, he ought to, Catherine. He gets his salary from the Springs.
Oh, I think it's more than that, don't you? Dr. Stockman created Kirsten Springs.
You don't say. I've been hearing that a lot lately, but I'd like to think that I had a certain modest part.
Tom always says
I
that.
only meant that the original idea was
My
that...
good brother is never at a loss for ideas, all sorts of ideas. But when it comes to putting them into action, it takes another kind of man. I would think that at least the people in this house would understand.
But dear, we didn't mean to insult you. Hubstead, won't you help yourself to some dinner, please?
Thank you. Maybe just a little something.
Isn't it remarkable? Why is it that people without backgrounds can never learn tact?
Why upset yourself, Peter? Can't you and Tom share the honors like good brothers?
The trouble is, certain men are never satisfied to share, Catherine.
Nonsense. You and Tom have always gotten along beautifully. Here he comes now.
Oh, go on in, kids. You guys must be hungry all over again. Come here, Captain Oyster. I want you to get a look at this spread.
Tom, come here.
Well, Peter, say, now this is really nice. How are you?
I'll have to go in a minute.
Oh, nonsense. Not with wine on the table. You haven't forgotten the wine, have you, Captain?
Of course not.
Oh, good. Well, sit down. Have a glass of wine with us.
No thanks, I don't go in for drinking parties.
But this is no party.
Oh, what else do you call it? It's really extraordinary how you people can consume all that food and live.
Why? It's finer than to watch young people eat. Peter, those are the idealists who are going to stir up this whole future.
Is that so? What's there to stir up?
Oh, don't worry. They'll let us know when the time comes. Things to work and fight for, Peter. Without that, you're dead. Live every day to the fullest. That's my motto. Anyway, Catherine says I'm earning almost as much as we spend.
Well, you're improving.
Why can't I give myself the pleasure of having young, interesting people around me? You'll see when Hubstead comes in, we'll talk.
Oh, yes, Hubstead. That reminds me. He said he was going to print one of your articles.
One of my articles?
Yes, something about the springs. You wrote it during the winter.
Oh, that one. I don't think I want that one printed right now, Peter.
Why not? It sounded to me like it would be very timely.
Under normal conditions, maybe so.
Well, what's abnormal about conditions now?
I can't say that for the moment, Peter. At least not tonight. There could be a great deal abnormal about conditions. Then again, there could be nothing at all.
Well, you've managed to sound mysterious. Is there anything wrong? Something you're keeping from me? Because I wish once in a while you'd remind yourself that I am chairman of the board for the Springs, as well as mayor.
And I'd like you to remember that I am on that board as well. Look, let's not get on each other's nerves.
I'd like to underline that everything concerning the Springs must be handled in a businesslike manner, dealt with through the proper channels, and dealt with by the legally constituted authorities. I can't have anything done behind my back in some roundabout way.
When did I ever go behind your back, Peter?
You have an ingrained tendency to go your own way, Thomas, and that simply can't go in a well-organized society. The individual really must subordinate himself to the authorities in charge of the general welfare.
Well, that's probably so, but I don't understand how that concerns me, Peter.
That's exactly what you never learned, Thomas. But you better watch out, because someday you might pay dearly for it. Now I've said it, goodbye.
You're absolutely on the wrong track.
I'm usually not. Good evening, Catherine.
What did you do to him now?
What does he want from me? I don't expect me to account for every move I make, every thought I think until I'm ready to do it.
The mayor certainly wasn't in a glowing mood tonight, was he?
I think he finds his brother a pain in the
Neck.
I don't think two editors in the journal help much either.
No, it's just that Peter's a lonely man, and all he knows is official business and duties.
Hey, come in. Help yourselves to wine.
Thank you very much.
Toast.
Thank you. A toast to home. What an adventure. Come in, sit down, make yourself at home.
So, Captain, when do you sail?
I expect to be ready next week.
Oh, then you won't be home for the new election.
Is there going to be another election?
Don't you know?
No, I don't get mixed up in those things.
But you are interested in politics, aren't you?
Frankly, it's a dirty business. All corruption and compromise.
Just the same, you ought to vote. Society, Captain, is like a ship, and every person should do something to help navigate that ship.
That may be all right, I'm sure. But on board a ship, it doesn't work out so well.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Peter.
Oh, Father, I have a letter for you.
Who's it from?
I met the mailman on the way to school, and he asked me to give me your mail.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Is that the one you've been waiting for?
Yes, it is. Could you please all excuse me?
Oh,
for-
sure.
Thank you very much, Captain.
What's the matter with Father? I don't know. All week he's been asking again and again about the mail. It's probably about an out-of-town case of his. Poor Father. He's just got too much to do.
Petra, what happened to the article you were going to write for us?
Oh, I just haven't had time to look at everything you've given me
Oh,
for an
you've
hour.
been teaching night school again?
2 hours a night. Plus high school every day? Yes, 5 hours at men at night to pile up papers. It's great. She never stops going.
Well, maybe that's why I always think of you as breathless.
I love it. I get so wonderfully tired.
I could work as stupid.
Don't you like to work, Morton?
No,
What will you ever amount to in this world?
I'm going to be a superhero. You can't. You have to have muscle for that. So I'll help out.
Children, I think it's time that you go off to bed now. Don't you have some homework you need to finish? No, I think I saw some school books in those bags. Come on now.
Okay, Mom, but I don't have any homework.
Kids, there's going to you to hear it too.
Tom, what kind of news?
Oh, a terrific discovery, Catherine.
That you made?
Over here, that I made. Now let the fools running this town call me a lunatic.
What is it, Father?
Oh, if Peter were only here. Now you'll see how human beings can walk around and make judgments like blind rats.
The world's happened, Doctor.
Isn't our town a sound and healthy spot? Of course.
But what's happened?
And we certainly have recommended it. I myself have written about it in the journal.
But what are you trying to say?
Oh, the miraculous springs that cost such a fortune to build. The whole health institute is a pestle, a toxic dump.
Our springs are talking.
You know that filth up in Windmill Valley? There's such a stinking smell. Comes down from the industry up there, and the same poisonous mess comes right out into the blessed miraculous water we're supposed to cure people with.
How are you so sure about this?
I had a suspicion about it a long time ago. Last year there were too many sick cases among the visitors, so I started investigating the water.
So that's what you've been working on.
I sent samples of the water to the university for an exact chemical analysis.
And that's what you received.
This is it. It proves the existence of infectious organic matter in the water.
Well, thank God you discovered it in
Oh,
time.
you can say that again.
Well, what are you going to do now?
I'll put the thing right, of
Do you
course.
think that can be done?
If not, the whole institute is useless. But there's nothing to worry about. I know what has to be done.
But Tom, why did you keep it so secret?
What did you want me to do? Go out and shoot my mouth off before I really knew? Oh, thanks. I'm not that crazy. You don't realize what this means, Catherine. The whole water system's got to be changed.
Well, system.
Oh, the intake's too low. It's got to be raised to a much higher spot. The whole construction's got to be ripped out.
Well, Father, at least you can prove that they should have listened to you. That's right, you did warn them.
Of course I warned them. When they started it, I told them not to build it down there. But who am I, a mere scientist, to tell politicians where to build a hell institute? Well, now they're going to get it. Both of them.
Oh, this is tremendous.
It's bigger than tremendous. Wait till they see this. This final proof from the university and my report. 5 solid, explosive pages right to the board of directors. Will you give this to my brother?
Oh,
Alois?
certainly.
Thank you very much.
What is Uncle Peter going to say to this? Oh, that's a good question.
What can he say? He ought to be mighty glad such an important fact was brought out before we start an epidemic.
Doctor, I'd like to put a brief item of this discovery in the paper.
Oh, yes, now I'd really be grateful.
People ought to know soon.
Right away.
By God, you'll be the leading man in town, Doctor.
Oh, there was nothing to it. Every detective gets a lucky break once in his
Say,
life.
Hofstad, don't you think the town ought to pay Dr. Stockman some sort of tribute?
Oh, no.
Yes, well, let's alter the words for
I'll
him.
talk to Uncle.
No. Even if the board of directors want to give me an increase, I won't take it, Doctor. I hope this will bring you great honor and pleasure. To Dr. Stockman.
Dr. Stockman.
Thanks, friends, thanks. You know, there's one blessing above all others. Earn the respect of one's neighbors and the love of one's family. Would you honor me?
Of course. Tom Peter just called.
Well, what did he say?
He said that he'll stop by later this morning. Dying to see how he's going to take it.
Why, is there any doubt? You'll probably make it look like he made the discovery, not me.
Well, isn't there some way that you two could share the honors? I mean, couldn't we say that he put you on the right track or something?
Oh, I don't mind. As long as it makes everybody happy. Is it really true?
Father,
Oh, good morning.
It better be true or I'm going.
What had better be true?
This crazy story about the water system. Is it true?
well, of course it's true, Father.
How did you find out about it?
Peter came flying away to school this morning.
Oh, she did.
Yes, I thought she was trying to make a fool out of me.
Now, why would she want to do a thing like that?
Nothing pleases young people more than make fools out of old people.
But this is true, huh?
Oh, of course it's true. Peter, sit down over here for a while. This is pretty lucky for the town, don't you think?
Lucky for the town?
I mean that I made the discovery before it's too late.
Tom, I never thought you had the imagination to pull your brother's leg like this.
Pull his
But
leg.
Father, he's not trying to.
How does it go now? Let me get it straight. There's some kind of like weasels in the water system?
No, they're not weasels.
Well, some kind of little animals?
Bacteria, Father.
Ah, then a whole mess of them, eh?
Oh, there'd be millions and millions.
And nobody but you can see them? Is that it?
Yes, that's it. Well, of course, anybody with a microscope. What are you laughing at?
Father, you don't understand. You see, although you can't actually see bacteria with your eyes, that doesn't mean that they don't
Good
exist.
girl, you stick with them. By God, this is the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
What do you mean?
You think your going to get your brother to actually believe this?
Well, we'll see soon enough.
You really think he's that crazy?
I hope the whole town will be that crazy, Morty.
Yeah, they probably are, and it'll serve them right too. They think they're so much smarter than us old-timers. Your good brother ordered them to bounce me out of the council, so they chase me out like a dog. Make jackasses out of them,
Yes,
Stockton.
but Morty...
Long-eared, short-tailed jackasses. Stockton, if you can get the mayor and his elegant friends to grab at this bait, I will give $1,000 to charity right now, right on the spot.
Come in.
Good morning.
Good morning, upstairs.
This one is in on it too, huh?
Well, of course he's in on
What
it.
do you mean?
I should have guessed that. Well, I suppose it'll be in the papers too. Lay it on thick. I've got to go. It's getting a little deep for me in here.
Oh, no, stay a while. Let me explain it to you.
Oh, don't worry. I get it. Only you can see them. That's the best idea I've ever heard in my life.
The old codger doesn't believe a word of it.
What does he think you're doing?
Making an idiot out of my brother. Imagine that.
Well, have you heard from him lately?
Only that he's coming over later.
Well, I've been thinking about this since last night.
Yes?
Well, for you, I'm scientist, a medical man. This is really a rare opportunity. But I was wondering if you realize that it ties in with a lot of other things.
How do you mean? Here, sit down. What are you trying to say?
Well, you said last night that the water comes from impurities in the ground.
It comes from the poisonous dump up in Windmill Valley.
Doctor, I think it comes from an entirely different dump. The same dump that is poisoning and polluting our entire social life in this town.
For God's sakes, Elstead, what are you babbling about?
Everything that matters in this town has fallen into the hands of a few bureaucrats.
Not all.
They're all with old, reputable names. They've got everything in the palm of their hands.
Yes, but they happen to have ability and knowledge.
Did they show ability and knowledge when they built the springs where they did?
No, of course not. But that happened to be a blunder, and we'll clear it up now.
Do you think it's going to be as easy as all that?
Easy or not, it's got to be done.
Doctor, I've decided to give this scandal very special treatment.
Now wait, you can't call it a scandal yet.
When I took over this paper, I swore I'd blow that smug club of stubborn, self-satisfied old fogies to bits. This is a story that can do it.
Yes, but I still think we owe them a deep debt of gratitude for building the spring.
The mayor, being your brother, I ordinarily wouldn't want to touch it. But I know you wouldn't let that kind of thing obstruct the truth.
Of course not, but you can't advocate
I want you to
saying it.
understand. I don't have to tell you I come from a simple family. I know in my heart what the underdog needs. He's got to have a say in the government of society. That's what brings out ability, intelligence, and self-respect in people.
I understand that, but there's more to
I
it.
think a newspaper man who turns down any opportunity to help the common man is taking on a responsibility that I don't want. I know that in certain circles they call it agitation, and they can call it anything they like that makes them happy. But I have my own
I
conscience.
agree with you, Hofstad, but this is just a water
You're not listening.
Come in.
I beg your pardon, Doctor, if I intrude.
What can I do for you?
Is it true what I hear from Miss Billing that you intend to campaign for a better water system?
Yes, for the Institute, but it's not a campaign.
Well, I just wanted to call and tell you that we're behind you 100%.
There, you see.
Mrs. Osmondson, thank you very much.
We can be important, Doctor. When the little business person wants to push something through, he turns out to be the majority, you know. And it's always good to have the majority on your side.
That's certainly true, but I don't understand what this is all
Of
about.
course, the Kirsten Springs have become a gold mine for this town. And in my capacity as head of the Property Owners Association, I've come into contact with all kinds of people. And since I'm known to be a law-abiding and solid citizen, I have a certain influence in this town. You might even call it a little power.
I know that very well, Mrs. Osmondson.
That's why you can see it would be practically nothing for me to arrange a little demonstration.
Demonstration? What are you going to demonstrate about?
The people of the town complimenting you for bringing this important matter to everybody's attention. Of course, it would have to be done with
This
moderation.
could knock the fat cats right off the fence and into the garbage can.
Mr. Hofstad, I don't want any wild-eyed radicalism on this thing. Enough of that in my time, and no good ever comes of it. But for a good, solid citizen to express his calm, frank, and free opinion is something nobody can deny.
Mrs. Osmondson, I can't tell you how happy it makes me to hear this kind of support.
Well, you are deserving, Doctor, and I want you to know that the little business person is behind you like a wall. You have the majority on your side.
Thanks for that, Mrs. Osmondson.
We'll be going to the printers, Mr.
I have a thing or two to finish here.
Very well.
Everybody's afraid. They know it's right, but they're afraid.
Why? I think that Osmondson is very sincere.
Under all her liberal talk, she still idolizes authority. This blunder of the water system has to be made clear to every voter. Let Can you print your report?
Not until I talk to my brother.
Well, then I'll write an editorial in the meantime. And if the mayor doesn't give in, well, then
Listen, I promise you will go along, and then you can submit my report. Every word
on your word of honor.
Here it is. Take it. It can't do any harm for you to read it. Return it to me later. You'll see this is going to be easier than you think.
Let's hope so. Let me know as soon as you hear from the mayor.
Right away. Catherine! Oh, you're home already.
I just got home from school. Hasn't he been here yet?
Peter? No, but I just had a long talk with Hofstad. You know what I have behind me?
What?
A solid majority.
Is that good?
Good, it's wonderful. Can't imagine the feeling, Catherine, to know that your whole town feels like a brother to you. Why, I haven't felt so at home in this town since I was a boy. Come in.
Good evening.
Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Well, so. I read your report about the condition of the springs.
Well,
Thomas, was it really necessary to go into this investigation behind my back?
Peter, why don't we go and make some lunch?
yes, until I was certain there was no point.
And now you're certain.
Of course, aren't you, Peter? The university chemist corroborated that the whole
In your report, you say we guarantee our guest a permanent case of poisoning.
How can you describe it any other way?
So you merely conclude we must just build a waste disposal plant and reconstruct a brand new water system from the bottom up?
Well, do you know of some other way out? I don't.
I called the city engineer this morning, and in the course of the conversation, I sort of jokingly mentioned these changes as something we might consider for the future.
The future won't be soon enough, Peter.
The engineer gave me a few facts. Do you have any idea what your proposed changes would cost?
No, I never thought of that.
Naturally. Your little project would come to at least $1 million.
That expensive?
Oh, it's only money. The worst thing is it would take some 2 years.
2 years?
At the least. And what do you propose we do about the springs in the meantime? Close them down, no doubt. Because we'd have to, you know. As soon as rumor gets out that the water might be dangerous, we won't have a visitor left. And that's the picture, Thomas. You have it in your power to literally ruin your own town.
Now look, Peter. I don't want to ruin anything.
I'm not convinced there's any actual danger.
What you want? Anything else is impossible. My report is an absolute fact. The only trouble is that you and your administrations are the ones who insisted the water supply be built where it is, and now you're afraid to admit the blunder you've committed. Don't you think I can see through it all?
All right. Let's suppose that's true. Maybe I do care a little bit about my reputation. But I still say I do it for the good of the town. Without moral authority, there can be no government. And that is why, Thomas, it is my duty to prevent your report from ever reaching the board.
You think you can prevent that?
It will be prevented.
It can't be. There are too many people who already know about it.
Who? It can't possibly be those people from the Journey.
Exactly. A free and independent press will stand up and do its duty.
You are an unbelievably irresponsible man, Thomas. Can't you see what consequences this will have for you?
For me?
For you and your family.
Leave my family out of this. Don't you think it's a citizen's duty to share a new idea with the public?
The public doesn't need new ideas. The public is better off with old ideas.
You're not even embarrassed to say that?
Now look, I'm going to lay this out for you once and for all. You're always barking about authority. If a man gives you an order, he's persecuting you. Thomas, nothing is important enough to respect once you decide to revolt against your superiors. All right then, I give up. I'm not going to try to change you anymore. I'm going to give you an order now, and if you value your career, you'd better obey.
What kind of an order?
You're going to deny these rumors officially.
How?
You simply say you went into the investigation of the water more thoroughly, and you find you overestimated the danger.
I see.
And that you have complete confidence that whatever improvements are needed, the management will certainly take care of them.
My convictions come from the conditions of the water. My convictions will change when the water changes under no other reason.
What are you talking about convictions? You're an official. You keep convictions to yourself.
To myself?
As an official, I said. As a private person, that's something else. But as a subordinate employee of the Institute, you've got no right to express convictions of personal opinion opinions about anything connected with policy.
Now you listen to me, Peter. I am a doctor and a scientist.
What's this got to do with
And
science?
I have the right to express my opinion on anything in the world.
Not about the Institute. That I forbid.
You forbid?
I forbid you as your superior. When I give you an order, you obey.
Peter, if you weren't my brother, I'd
Father,
not.
you're not gonna stand for this, are you?
Peter, please be quiet.
What have you forbidden? Eavesdropping?
Of course not. You were talking
Yes,
so loud.
I was eavesdropping.
So you want me to distort the truth?
Is that so difficult?
If I don't obey,
Then we will publish our own statement to calm the public.
then I will write against you. I will stick to what I said and I will prove that I am right and you are wrong.
Then I simply won't be able to prevent your dismissal.
You can't.
If you want to wage war on Kirsten Springs, you've got no right to be on the board of directors.
You dare to do that?
Oh no, you're the daring one.
Uncle, this is a rotten way to treat a man like Father.
Peter, please.
So young, and you've got opinions already. But that's natural. Catherine, you're probably the only sane person in this house. Knock some sense into his head, will you? Make him realize what he's driving his whole family into.
My family concerns nobody but myself. The people are going to get wind of this corruption here, then we will see who loves his town.
Oh, you love your town. When you go ahead trying to stubbornly cut off our most important industry.
That source is poison. We are getting fat by peddling filth and corruption to innocent people.
I think this has gone beyond opinions and convictions, Thomas. A man who can throw around that kind of insinuation is nothing but a traitor to society.
How dare you!
I won't expose myself to violence. You've been warned. Consider what you owe yourself and you owe your family.
He's insulted.
Tom, it's shameful. I would love to keep that man at peace in my mind.
No, it's my own fault. I should have shown my teeth right from the beginning. Called me a traitor to society.
Tom, please think. He's got all the power on his side.
Yes, but I have the truth on mine.
Without power, what good is the truth?
It's ridiculous, Captain. I have the press and the majority. If that isn't power, what is?
You aren't going to fight it out in public with your brother. That's ridiculous.
What do you want me to do?
It won't do you any good. All you'll end up with is a notice that you're fired.
I'm going to do my duty, Captain.
And what about your duty to your family? The people that you're supposed to provide? Mother, always think of us first, Mother. You can talk. If worse comes to worse, you can provide for yourself. Well, the children, Tom. And what about you? And what about
What
me?
about you? You want me to be a miserable bug crawling away from their boots? You'd be happy if I can't face myself the rest of my life?
Tom, there's so much injustice in the world. You've simply got to learn to live with it. Is it so long since our early years that you've forgotten how it was that we lived? Haven't we had enough of that for one lifetime? What will happen to the children? We'll have nothing if you're fired.
Stop it!
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Peter.
Kids, did you learn anything in school today?
You learned what an insect is.
You don't say. Well, that's pretty neat. Hey, why don't you come over here? Oh, that's pretty neat. An insect, huh?
What happens here? Why is everybody
Oh,
so...
nothing, don't worry. You know what I'm going to do, kids? From now on, you're not going to learn about insects anymore. From now on, I'm going to teach you about human beings.
It's devastating. Dr. Stockman is brilliant. I swear I never really understood how incompetent our town leaders are. I hear the rumble of a revolution in this.
Shosses inside.
Ozlex's a coward. With all that moderation talk, all she's saying is she's scared. You're going to print this, aren't you?
I'm just waiting for the doctor to give the word. And if his brother hasn't given in, well, we put it on the press anyway.
If the mayor's against this, things are going to get pretty rough. You know that.
Well, just let him try to block the reconstruction of the Springs. The small business people in the whole town will be screaming for his head. Ossops will see to it.
It's a revolution, you know that. I mean it. We're on the edge of a real revolution.
Print it.
Wonderful.
Ozlexon, doctor's here.
Well, what did the mayor say?
The mayor has declared war, so war is what it's going to be. And this is only the beginning. You know what he tried to do? He actually tried to blackmail me. He's got the nerve to tell me that I'm not allowed to speak my mind without his permission.
He actually said it right out.
Right to my face. There are people who try to hold power even if they have to poison the town to do it.
Now let's be calm, Doctor. I'm with you, you understand. Moderation.
What did you think of the other house then?
It was a masterpiece. In one blow, you managed to prove beyond any doubt what kind of men are running.
May we print it now, then?
Yes.
They will be ready for tomorrow's meeting.
Make it perfect. Like you were printing money. Can't imagine how I'm dying to see it in print. After all the lies in the papers, the half-lies, the quarter lies, finally see the absolute, unvarnished truth about something important. And this is only the beginning. We'll We'll go on to other subjects and blow up every line we live by. What do you say to that, Mrs. Austin?
Just remember,
Moderation.
I don't see what's so funny about that.
Dr. Stuck, I feel as though I were standing at some historic painting. This is a historic day. Someday this scene will be in a museum entitled The Day the Truth Was Born.
Let's hope so.
I hope you realize how useful he could be to us.
I don't like this business about this is only the beginning. Let him stick to the springs.
What makes you so scared all the time?
I have to live here. It'd be different if you're attacking the national government or something, but if he thinks I'm going to go after the whole town
What's the
administration...
difference? Bad is bad.
Yes, but there is a difference. You go after the national government, what's going to happen? Nothing. They go right on. But a town administration, they're liable to have a phone or something.
It's always the same. Give a person a little property and the truth just disappears.
Miss Billy, I'm older than you are. I've seen your type before. You know who sat at that desk before you? Ed Stansford. Councilman Stansford. And didn't I hear you applied for a job at City Hall?
Billy.
Well, if I get the job, I'll have a chance to work on the inside.
All right, all I'm saying is that people change. You can call me a coward. Well, I haven't given any passionate speeches, but I haven't gone back on my beliefs either.
Just get rid of her.
Take it. She's not that bad. She pays the bills. I'll get this to the printer.
Say, maybe we should ask Mr. Stockman to back us. Then we could really put out a paper.
What would he do for money?
His father-in-law.
Keel, since when has he got any money?
I think he's loaded.
Really? As long as I've known him, he's worn the same suit, the same overcoat?
The same ring. You ever get a look at that folder?
No, I really
All
haven't.
year, he was done on the inside. But on New Year's Eve, he turns it around.
Mr. Hobson, I'd like to talk to you.
What about?
This idea you've given me for a column is nothing more than gossip.
Peter, this is a newspaper. People like to read that kind of thing. And they fight for that and we slip in our political stuff.
You don't say.
Here, take this picture, will you? I just want you to understand something. It was Billy's idea. People are people, Miss Stockman. I just don't want you to go out of here with the wrong idea of me. I suppose you know I happen to admire you. But I haven't had the chance to tell you.
Tell me why you're supporting my father.
What's the mystery? It's a matter of principle.
But a paper that'll print gossip and rumor has no principle.
Why do you jump to such extremes? You're just like...
Like what?
I simply...
Like my father. You have no use for him, do you? I think you're up to something. Why are you involved with my father? Hobson! Oh, Miss Stockman, I'm sorry if I interrupt.
That's all right. That's not listening. I was just leaving.
Please. You must be Mayor.
Yes, he came to the back. He doesn't want to be seen. He wants to speak to you. What does he want?
I'll get to that shortly, Mr. Hubstead. I always imagined this place would look dirty, but it's clean. Very nice, Miss Austin.
What do we do for you, Mr. Stockton?
I had a very annoying thing happen today, Mr. Hubstead. It seems my brother has written some sort of report about the springs. Did he mention it to you?
I think he said something about it, but,
That's it, isn't it?
This? Oh, I don't know. I haven't
That's
read
the thing the printer wanted proofread.
That's right. It's only a question of spelling. I'll be right back.
I'm very good at spelling. Maybe I could help.
Oh, there's some Latin that you wouldn't happen to know Latin, would you?
Oh, yes, I used to help my brother with his Latin all the time. Let me have it. You're going to print this?
It's a signed article. The signed articles are author's responsibility.
You're going to allow this?
I'm the publisher, not the editor, Your Honor. My policy is freedom for the editor.
You've got a point, I can see that.
I realize, Mr. Stockman, this would be a tremendous sacrifice for the stockholders.
What
but
you
I think-
don't seem to realize, Miss Osdixon, is that so long as I am mayor, any changes in those baths are going to be paid for by a municipal loan.
You mean you're going to tax the people for this?
Exactly.
But the Springs are a private corporation.
The corporation built Kirsten Springs out of its own money. If the people want them changed, the people pay the bill. The corporation is simply in no position to put out any more funds.
But the people would never stand for another tax. Is this a fact or your opinion?
It happens to be a fact, plus another fact. Oh, you'll forgive me for talking about facts in a newspaper office. But the Springs will take some 2 years to reconstruct. 2 years without income for your small businessmen, Miss Osgoodson, and a heavy new tax besides. And all because of this propaganda.
That's based on science.
This is based on vindictiveness. It is the magic of a man who's trying to blow up our way of life. It has nothing to do with reform or science.
You sure you want to support this thing, Hofstad?
Frankly, I never thought of it that way. When you think of it psychologically, it's completely possible, of course. Well, that man is simply... I don't know what to say. I don't want to hurt the town in any way. I never imagined you'd have to have
Well,
any
you
tax.
surely imagined it, Mr. Hofstad, because you're going to have to advocate it. Unless, of course, newspaper readers enjoy high taxes. You know better than I, of course, but I happen to have here a brief story of the actual facts. It proves that with a little care, nobody at all need be harmed by the water. Of course, in time, we have to make a few minor structural changes.
May I see that?
Yes, I want you to study, Mr. Hofstad, and see if you don't agree.
Are you expecting the doctor?
He's here.
He's just crossing the street.
I'd rather not run into him
Well,
here.
right this way, sir. Hurry up.
Hofstad, get him out of here right away.
I'm busy. Do something.
Any proofs yet? I guess not, huh?
No, you can't expect those for some time.
You don't mind if I wait?
Oh, there's no sense in that. We're very
Oh,
busy.
bear with me, Hofstad. I just can't wait to see it in print.
Oh, Doctor, we're very busy. Would you
Oh,
please...
don't let me hold you up. That's the way to be. Busy. Make this town shine like a jewel. Just one thing, though.
Doctor, would we...
Just 2 words, 2 words. Walking down the street now, I looked at the people on the street and in the stores, and I was suddenly, well, touched, you know? By their innocence, I mean. What I'm getting at is as soon as this expose breaks, the people are liable to start making a saint out of me or something, and I just... Osgoodson, I want you to promise
Doctor,
me,
there's
won't
no
you?
use concealing.
I knew it. Now look, I simply will not
Doctor,
attempt
I
to
think
earn my
it's
own.
time that we've had the discussion of...
I thought so. Tom, I want you home. I want you to talk to Petra.
What happened? What are you doing here?
Problem, Mrs. Stockton.
Dr. Stockton is the father of 3 children, Mr. Hubstead.
Look, dear, everybody knows that. I don't think
Well,
that-
nobody can tell by the way you're dragging us into this disaster.
What disaster?
Treats you like a son. And you want to make a fool of him.
I'm not making a
Then
fool
how can you
of
accuse
anyone.
Hubstead?
Lose his job at the Springs. Do you realize that? You print that article and they'll grind him up like a piece of meat.
Catherine,
Hubstead, what are you up to?
Catherine, I won't have you jumping in Hubstead like this.
I want you home. This man isn't your friend.
He is too, my friend. Any man who shares my risk is my friend. As soon as this breaks, the people are going to come out in the street and drive that. The hell is he doing here?
Be calm.
Where is he? What did he do? Talk you out in Hubstead? You won't get away with this. Where is he?
Be careful, Doctor.
Well, Peter, poisoning the water wasn't enough. Working on the press now, huh?
My cane, please.
Oh, the baton of command, Your Honor, it can pass from hand to hand, so don't gloat yet. The people haven't spoken, and I am the people because I am the truth, my friends.
Doctor, we're not scientists, you see, so we can't really judge whether your article is really true.
Then print it under my name. Let me defend
I'm not going to print it. I can't sacrifice this paper. Once the story gets out into the public, the town's not going to stand for any changes in the spring.
You see, the mayor just told us there will have to be a new tax.
Ah, I see. That's why you're not scientists suddenly and can't decide if I'm telling the truth.
Doctor, I'm not going to ruin this paper or this town for the sake of your family.
You can leave his family out of this, Miss Oslickson. I think you people are terrible.
My article, if you don't mind.
Can't you just forget it? Can't you see now that everybody
I can't forget it. I'm going to call a mass meeting and everybody's
is going to rent you a hall?
Then I will take a drum and march through the streets proclaiming that our springs are befouled and poison is drowning our politicians.
You really are mad.
Man! Oh, my dear brother, you haven't even heard me raise my voice yet. Catherine?
Captain Forster, my name is Billy. Don't you remember at the doctor's house?
Oh, yes. I've been so busy I didn't recognize you. Why don't those people come inside?
I don't know. I guess they're waiting for the mayor or somebody important to come in so they know it's respectable in there. I have a question. Why are you lending your house for this? I never heard of you connected with anything political.
I've been in many places where people aren't allowed to say unpopular things, and I don't like it.
And another question. What's your opinion on the doctor's proposition to rebuild the springs?
I don't understand a thing about it. Come in.
Hi. Good evening, Captain. Good evening, Captain. Take them all. article, it only would have hurt your husband.
Miss Billing, I've never said this to anyone in my life, but I think you're a liar.
Whoa! Hey, right, yeah.
Catherine, Petra. Why so coldly? He wanted a meeting, and he's got a meeting. Isn't he even here?
No, he's out in town with people.
Fine. By the way, Petra, did you paint that poster? The one somebody stuck on City Hall?
You can call it a painting, yes.
I could arrest you, you know. It's against the law to deface city property.
Well, here I am. If you arrest her, I'll never speak to you again.
Catherine, you have no sense of humor.
Your Honor, he's right this way. He's going to go. Mr. Mayor. Just relax. It won't take long. Well, good evening. Glad you're here.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
How you feel, Captain?
Promise me don't lose your temper.
All right. You might as well begin. Quiet down, please. Quiet, please. This issue is very
We
simple.
haven't elected a chairman, Doctor.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Hutchinson, this isn't a meeting.
I can't do a meeting, Doctor. There's going to be some kind of control here.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What is there to control?
Sure, let him speak. This is no meeting.
Your Honor, why don't you take charge?
Just a minute now, this board.
There's a big difference of opinion here. Somebody's got to take control.
What makes you so sure? You don't even know yet what I'm going to say.
I've got a pretty good idea what you're going to say, and I don't like it.
Right.
If a man doesn't like it here, let him go where it suits him better. We don't
Right.
like trouble making it around here.
Well, look, Fred, you don't know a thing about me.
We know plenty about you, Zach.
From what? From the newspapers? How do you know I don't like this town? I'm here to save the life of this town.
Now, just a minute, Doctor. I think the democratic thing to do is elect a chairman.
Definitely. I nominate the mayor. I second the mayor.
No, that wouldn't be fair. I suggest Miss Osmondson, who's always been known to be so fair and neutral.
I came to a lecture. I didn't. What are you afraid of? Fair fight. I second this nomination.
All right. That's your pleasure. I just want to remind you that the reason I arranged for this lecture was that I have a very important message for you people. And I couldn't get into the press, and no one would rent me a hall. I just hope I'll be given time to speak here. Mrs. Osmondson?
I'd just like to say one thing before we begin. Please remember the high civic virtue, moderation. Would anybody like the floor?
Mrs. Officer.
Ms. Chairman.
His Honor the Mayor will address the meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason it should take very long to settle this tonight and return to our ordinary, calm, and peaceful lives. Now here's the issue. Dr. Stockman, my brother, and believe me, it's not easy to say this, has decided to wage war on Kirsten Springs, our health institution. Now he has a very long and involved way of going about it, but that's the brunt of it, believe me.
Well, then what are we wasting time for?
Run him out of town.
I want no violence here. I want you to understand his motives. He is a man who is never happy unless he is ridiculing authority. He wants to attack the Springs so he can prove that the administration blundered in the construction.
May I speak?
The Mayor has not finished.
Thank you. Now, there are a number of people here who seem to think the doctor has a right to say anything he pleases. After all, we are a democratic country. Now, in ordinary times, I'd agree 100% with anybody's right to say anything. But these are not ordinary times. Nations have crises and so do towns. And there are ruins of nations and there are ruins of towns all over the world. And they were destroyed by people who, in the guise of reform and pleading for justice, broke down all authority and left only revolution and chaos.
What the hell are you talking about? I held the lecture. I didn't invite him to attack me. He's got the press and every hall in town to attack me, and I've got nothing but this room tonight.
I don't think you're making a very good impression, Doctor. Please continue, Your Honor.
Now, this is our crisis. We know what this town was without our institute. We could barely afford to keep our streets in condition. Today, we're just on the verge of becoming internationally known as a resort. I predict that within 5 years, the income of every man in this room will be immensely greater. I predict that new schools will be built. They'll be bigger and better. I predict great homes will be built here, and fine stores will open all along Main Street. I predict that if we're not defamed and maliciously attacked, we will someday be one of the richest and most beautiful resort towns in the world. Now there are your choices. All you've got to do is ask yourselves a simple question. Has any one of us the right, the democratic right, as they like to call it, to pick at minor flaws in the springs and attempt to publish these defamations for the whole world to see? We live or die on what the outside world thinks of us. I believe there's a line that must be drawn, and if a man decides to cross over that line, we, the people, must take him by the collar and declare, "You cannot say that." I think we all understand each other. Ms. Oslickson, I move that the doctor be prohibited from reading his report at this meeting.
Please, I think we can proceed to the vote.
Well, aren't you going to let me speak at all?
We were just about to vote on that question.
But damn it, I've got a right to... Yes, point of order.
Yeah.
We want to discuss the motion.
That's right, I want to discuss the motion.
All right.
Now listen. He talks and he talks and he talks, but not a word about the facts.
We don't want to hear any more about the water.
We know it's fine.
Well, judge for yourselves. Here, let me read you from my report.
No, we don't want any more.
I think, Doctor, that the majority wants to vote before you start to speak. If you
Yeah,
so
that's
will,
right.
you can speak. Otherwise, majority rules, you will not deny that.
Don't bother voting. I understand everything now. Now I have a few minutes.
Ms. Oslickson.
I won't mention the Institute. I have a new discovery that's 1,000 times more important than all the institutes in the world. May I have the platform?
Well, I don't see how we can deny him that, as long as he confines himself to the...
Springs are not the subject. But before I go into my subject, I would like to congratulate the liberals and radicals among us, like Mr. Hubster.
What do you mean radical? Where's your evidence to call me a radical?
You've got me there. There isn't any. I guess there never really was. I just wanted to congratulate you on your self-control tonight. You who fought in every living room for the principle of free speech these many years.
I believe in democracy. When my readers are overwhelmingly against something, I'm not going to impose my will on the majority or on the people.
I expected that, my friend. But don't think you can fog up my brain with that magic word, the people. Not anymore. Just because there is a mass of organisms with a human shape, they do not automatically become a people. That honor has to be earned. Nor does one become a man by having human shape, and living in a house, and feeding one's face, and agreeing with one's neighbors. That also has to be earned. I became convinced of my theory about the water. The authorities moved in at once. I said to myself, I will fight them to the death because
What are
I
you
have...
trying to do here? Start a revolution? He's a revolutionist.
Let me finish! Let me finish! I thought to myself, the majority. I have the majority. Let me tell you, Prince, it was a great feeling. The reason I came back to this town is I wanted to give my education to it. I loved it. So I spent months without paid or encouragement reading up the whole project in the spring. And why? Not as my brother says, so that we can become rich, so that we might cure the sick, so that we might meet people from all over the world and learn from them, and become broader and more civilized. In other words, more like men, more like a people.
You really don't like this town, do you?
Admit it, you're a revolutionist, aren't you? Admit
I
it!
told you, finish. I proclaim it now. I am in revolt against the age-old lie that the majority is always right.
He's an aristocrat all of a sudden.
And more, the majority is always wrong, and in this way...
Are you out of your mind? Stop
Was
talking
the majority
now.
right when they stood by while Jesus was crucified? The majority right when they refused to believe that the earth moved around the sun and let Galileo be driven to his knees like a dog? It takes 50 years for the majority to be right. The majority is never right until it does right.
I want the stage right now that although I've been this man's friend and have eaten at his table many times, I now cut myself off from him absolutely.
Moon of soldiers is walking down the road toward the enemy. Every one of them is convinced he's on the right road, the safe road. 2 miles ahead stands one man, the outpost. He sees that the road is dangerous, that his comrades are walking into a trap. He runs back, finds the platoon. Isn't it clear that this man must have the right to warn the majority, to argue with the majority, to fight with the majority if he believes he has the truth? Before many can know something, one must know it. It's always the same. Rights are sacred until it hurts for somebody to use them. I beg you now, I realize that the cost is great, the inconvenience is great, the risk is great that other towns will get the jump on us while we're rebuilding.
Mr. Anderson, you're not
Let me prove it to you. The water is poison.
One moment, boys. I'll take you back right now. Stop quiet. I want no violence here. Thomas, come down and give Miss Anderson that platform.
I'm not through yet.
Come down or I will not be responsible for what happens.
Tom, I'd like to go home.
I move the chairman to order the speaker leave the platform.
Fine, then I will take this to all the town newspapers until the whole country is full of it.
You're trying to ruin this town. That's not trying to ruin it.
You're trying to make town on a morality so rotten that it will infect the country and the world. If the only way you can prosper is this murder of freedom and truth, then I say with all my heart, let it be destroyed. Let the people perish.
I would like to submit the following resolution. All people assembled here tonight, decent and patriotic citizens in defense of their town and their country, declare that Dr. Thomas Stockman, medical officer of the Springs, is an enemy of the people and his community.
Not true!
Is there anyone against this motion?
I am.
With all votes against 4, this assembly formally declares Dr. Thomas Stockman an enemy of the people. All dealings with him are on that basis. This meeting is adjourned.
Right.
Let's go to the back door.
Right this way. No. No back doors. I don't want to mislead anyone. The enemy is not big enough in this town. Not quite yet. And if anybody has
Tom? Tom, are you all right?
a little boy, bid him run from the enemy. How fast the poison spreads, even to the children.
It's hard to believe this is even the same town.
I'm going to keep these like sacred relics. I'll put them in my will. I want the children to have them in their homes to look at every day. It's cold. Freeze to death in here.
Tom, the repairman won't come here.
Afraid to fix my windows?
You don't understand. People don't like to be pointed out. He's got neighbors. I just don't even know how we're going to get out to buy food.
It's not the worst of it. We've been evicted.
What?
Oh, he hates to do it, but public opinion what it is.
Should never let the children go to school. I mean, anything could happen to them.
Don't get yourself worked up.
No, but the landlord, he's such a nice man. If he has to throw us out, the whole town must be ready to murder us.
Calm down. We'll go to the city and the whole thing
I don't
will...
want to go to the city. How do you know it's going to be any different?
I don't know. It just seems to me that in a big city like that, the spirit must be bigger. Still, I suppose they have a solid majority there, too. I don't know. At least there must be more room to hide.
I just hate to go somewhere else, only to find that we're in the same place.
You know, Catherine, I don't think I'll ever be able to forget the face of that crowd last night. Think about it. Some of them had their teeth bared like animals in a pack. Who leads them? Men who call themselves liberals, radicals. The crowd lets out one roar, and where are they, my liberal friends? I bet if I walked down the street now, not one of them would admit he ever met doesn't dare fix my windows. The landlord doesn't dare.
Landlord.
We've been evicted. On the wreckage of all the civilizations in the world, there ought to be a big sign. They didn't dare.
Really can't blame her, Father. She showed me 3 letters she got this morning.
From whom?
They weren't signed.
So naturally, the brave patriots with their anonymous indignations. What did the letter say?
Well, one of them was from somebody who said that he heard from somebody in his house who said that I had radical opinions on certain things.
Oh, wonderful. Somebody heard that she heard that he heard. Catherine, pack as soon as you can.
Good morning.
Captain,
Morning, Captain. You're just the man I want to see.
I thought I'd come by and see how you all work.
it's very kind of you. And I wanted to thank you again for seeing us through the crowd last night.
Did you get out all right? You hate to leave me there with that mom.
Oh, without being to it. But just one thing to remember in a storm. It'll pass.
Unless it kills you.
You mustn't let yourself be bitter.
Oh, I'm trying. But I don't guarantee how I'll feel when I try to walk down the street with traitor branded on my forehead.
It's only a word.
A word can be like a needle sticking in your heart, Captain. It can dig and corrode like an acid until you become what they want you to be. Really an enemy of the people.
You mustn't ever let that happen, Doctor.
Frankly, I don't give a damn anymore. Let summer come, let an epidemic break out, and they'll see who they drove into exile. When are you sailing?
The ship will sail, but I won't be aboard.
No?
You weren't fired. You should never let us use your house. And
It's all right. I'll get another ship. It's just the owner, Mr. Vick. Belongs to the same party as the mayor. And I suppose we belong to a party, and that party takes a position. Because Mr. Vick himself is a very decent man.
Oh, they're all decent men.
No, really, he's not like the others.
It doesn't have to be. A party grinds up clear heads, fat heads, round heads, block heads, and what comes out? Meat heads.
come in.
If you're busy.
We're just picking up rocks and broken glass. Come in, Peter. What can I do for you this fine, brisk morning?
Captain, why don't you join us in coffee? Petra?
I'd like to finish our talk later, Doctor.
I'll be with you in a minute, Captain. Keep your hat on if you like. It's a bit drafty in here today.
Thank you. I believe I will. I think I caught cold last night. The house was freezing.
It's funny, I thought it was quite warm, actually. Suffocating, as a matter of fact. What do you want?
May I sit down?
Not there! I said the solid majority is liable to open your skull. Right there. Now don't tell me.
Yes.
Pipe.
The board of directors met this morning. Considering the state of public opinion, there was nothing else they could do.
You look scared.
I haven't completely forgotten you're still my brother, Thomas.
I doubt that.
You've got no practice left in this town, Thomas.
People always need a doctor.
A petition is going from door to door. Everybody's signing it. It's a pledge not to call you anymore. I don't think a single family will dare not to sign it.
You started that, didn't you?
No. Actually, I think this has all gone too far. I never wanted to see you ruined like this. This will ruin you.
No, it won't.
For once in your life, will you act like a responsible man?
Why don't you say it, Peter? You're afraid I'm going to go to out-of-town newspapers and start publishing things about the Springs, aren't you?
I don't deny that. Look, Thomas, if you really have the good of the town at heart, you can accomplish everything without damaging anybody, including yourself.
What's this now?
Give me a signed statement saying that in your zeal to help the town, you went overboard, exaggerated. Put it any way you like. Just calm anyone who might feel nervous about the water. You give me that, and you've got your job. And you've got my word that you can gradually make any improvements you feel necessary. That gives you what you want.
You expect me to remain in charge while the people are being poisoned?
I said in time you can make your change.
What, in 5 years, 10 years? Your trouble, Peter, you just don't grasp, even now that there are certain men you can't buy.
I am quite capable of understanding that. You just don't happen to be one of those men.
What do you mean by that now?
You know damn well what I mean by that. Morton Keel is what I mean by that.
What?
Your father-in-law, Morton Keel.
I swear, Peter, one of us is out of his mind. What are you talking about?
You mean to say you don't know that your father-in-law has been running all over town all morning, buying up stock in Kirsten Springs?
Buying up stock?
Buying up stock, every share he can lay his hands on.
I don't understand, Peter. What's that got to do with
A
it?
man wages a relentless campaign against a corporation. He even goes so far as to hold a mass meeting against it. The very next morning, when everybody's still in a state of shock about it all, he runs all over town picking up shares at half their value.
You mean you actually believe that
I believe what I see. And what I see is a man doing a dirty, filthy job for Morton Keel. And by tonight, every man in this town will see the same thing.
Peter, you...
Give me that side statement denying all you've been saying.
Peter, you're despicable!
All right then. Get this straight. If you plan on opening up another attack from outside of town, the morning it's issued, I will issue a subpoena and begin prosecution for conspiracy. I've been trying to make you seem respectable all my life. If you want to make this final jump, there'll be nobody to hold you back. Do we understand each other?
Oh, we do, Peter. Scrub the floors, wash down the walls, a pestilence has been here.
I knew it!
Well, Morton, now what have you done? What's the matter with you? Do you realize what this makes me look like? Is that them?
That's them, yes. Houston Street Sheriff. Very easy to get this money.
Don't play games with me, Morton. What are you up to now?
Thomas, they hated you last night.
You don't have to tell me that.
But they also believed you. They'd love to murder you, but they believed you. The way they say it, the pollution is coming down the river from the Windmill Valley.
That's exactly where it's coming from.
Yes, and that's exactly where my factory is.
Well, Morton, never made a secret to you that the pollution was factory-based.
I'm not blaming you. It's my fault. I didn't take you seriously at first, but it's very serious now. Thomas, I got that business from my father. He got it from his father, and his father got it from my great-grandfather. I do not intend to allow my family's name to stand for 3 generations of murderers who poisoned this town.
Morton, I've waited a long time for this talk. I don't think you can stop that from happening now.
Nope, but you can.
Me?
I bought these shares because...
Morton, you've thrown your money away. The springs are doomed.
I never throw my money away, Thomas. These were bought with your money.
My money? What?
You probably suspect I might do a little something for Catherine and the boys.
Well, naturally, I hope...
Well, this morning I decided to invest that money in some stock.
You bought that junk with Catherine's money?
I'm gonna die clean it, and you're gonna clean my name for me.
Could you do such a thing? What's the matter with you?
Now, don't get excited. It's very simple. If you think it over and decide you have to change your opinion about the water...
But the water is poisoned.
If you simply go on insisting that the water is poisoned with these in your house, then there's only one explanation for you. You're absolutely crazy.
You're right. I'm mad. I'm insane.
You must be. You're bankrupting your family. Only a madman would do a thing like that. How do you know the day you made your test there wasn't something unusual about the water? How do you know the rest of it wasn't pure?
It's not probable. There were too many people getting sick
They were
last
sick when they came here, they wouldn't have come.
Oh, I tested the water.
Admit it. We're all alone here. You have some doubts.
Nothing is 100% on this.
Then you have a perfect right to doubt the other way. You have a scientific right. Did you ever think of some disinfectant? Bet you never even thought of that.
No, not water polluted like that. It can't be disinfected.
Everything can be killed. That's science. Thomas, I never liked your brother. You have a perfect right to hate him.
You do it because I hate my brother.
Part of it, don't deny it. There's some doubt in your mind about the water. There may be ways to disinfect it, yet you went after your brothers if the only way to cure things was to blow up all over. There's hate in that, don't forget it. These can belong to you now, so be sure, tear the hatred from your heart. Be sure.
What right have you to gamble my family's future on the strength of my convictions?
Then the convictions are not really that strong.
I'm ready to hang for my convictions. No man has the right to make martyrs out of others. My family is innocent. Sell back those shares. Give her what belongs to her. I'm a penniless man.
Nobody's gonna say Morton Keel wrecked this town. You retract your convictions or these go to charity. There'll be a little something for Catherine, but not much. I want my good name. Charity will do it, or you will do it. It's a serious thing to destroy a town.
Doctor, can we have 5 minutes
I've got nothing to say to you.
I want an answer right away. You here, I'll be waiting.
I've got a lot on my mind, so get to the point. What do you want?
Doctor, you should have told us what was behind it all. You could have had the journal behind you 100%.
We'd have had public opinion with you now. Why didn't you tell us?
Look, I'm very tired. Let's not beat around the bush.
He's been around town all morning buying up shares of stock in the springs. It's no secret anymore.
What about it?
You don't want me to spell it out, do you?
I certainly wish
All
you
right.
would.
Let's lay it on the table. I'll succeed.
No,
Would you like-
go ahead.
Doctor, in the beginning we supported you. We couldn't go on supporting you because, in simple language, we didn't have the money to withstand the loss in circulation. You're boycotted now. Well, the paper would have been boycotted too if we'd stuck with you.
You can see that, Doctor.
Yes, but what do you want?
The journal can put on such a campaign. Well, that in 2 months you'd be declared a hero in this town.
We're ready to go.
We can prove to the public that you had to buy out the shares because the management wouldn't make changes required for public health. In other words, you did it for absolutely public-spirited reasons. Now, what do you say, Doctor?
You want money from me? Is that it?
Well, no, Doctor.
No, don't go around it. If we supported you again, there'd be a loss in circulation, and we'd like you, or Mr. Keel rather, to make up the deficit. Now that's open and above board. I don't see anything wrong with it, to you?
Remember, Doctor, you need this paper. You need it desperately.
I hate to keep repeating the same thing, but the water is poison.
But Doctor, you
Just a minute. The mayor says that he will levy a tax on everybody to pay for the reconstruction of the springs. I assume that you are ready to support that tax at the same time you're supporting me?
Doctor, that tax would be extremely unpopular.
With you back in charge of the Springs as medical officer, we have no fear that anything
In other
will
words,
go
you'll
wrong.
clear up my name so that I can be in charge of the corruption.
We can't tackle everything at once. A new tax, there'd be an
It
uproar.
would ruin the paper.
So you don't intend to do anything about the water?
We have faith you won't let anyone get sick.
In other words, you're looking for someone to blackmail into paying your printing.
We are trying to clear your name, Dr. Stockman. That if you refuse to cooperate, if that's going to be your attitude, well...
Yes? Go on. What will you do? No, I would like you to tell me. Me, the man who 2 minutes ago you were going to make into a hero. What will you do now that I won't pay you?
Doctor, the public is almost hysterical.
What will you do? Tell me to my face!
The mayor will prosecute you for conspiracy to destroy a corporation. And without a paper behind you, you'll end up in prison.
And you'll support it, won't you? I want this from your mouth, Bugstead. This little victory you will not deny me. Say it to me!
You are a madman. A man who will drag his family through a lifetime of disgrace is a demon in his heart. A demon who cares more for the purity of public baths than the life of his own wife and children. Dr. Stockman, you deserve everything you're going to get.
Mother!
Please consider, Doctor, it won't take much money, and in 2 months' time, I promise you, your whole life will change, and then maybe...
Mother! Mother!
What's wrong? Katie? Katie, what's wrong? What happened to your eye? What happened? Tom, look at his eye. Something happened. What happened?
I'm alright, it's nothing.
What happened?
Nothing, Dad, I swear.
What happened? Why aren't you at school?
The teacher said we better stay home for the rest of the week.
The boys hit him?
They started calling new names, so I got turned, started fighting with one kid. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of them jumped on him.
Why did you answer them?
They called him a traitor. My father's no traitor. But you didn't have to answer.
That's right. You should have known they'd hit you. They could have killed you.
I don't care.
Morton!
Next time I see him, I'll take a rock and I'll kill him.
It's all right.
Let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
It's all right.
He called you a traitor, an enemy.
That's all. It's all right. Good day.
Let us know what you decide.
I've decided. I am an enemy of the people.
Tom, what are you saying?
Those people who teach their children to think with their fists. To them, I am an enemy. To my boy, and my children, and my family. I think you can count us all enemies.
Doctor, you could have everything you want.
Except the truth. You can have everything but that.
She'll be in
But
charge.
the children are poisoned. The people are poisoned. The only way I can be a friend of the people is to take charge of this corruption, and I am an enemy.
Do you know where you're going to end up?
Get out of here!
Tom, what are you doing? You are a fanatic. You are out of your mind.
Tom,
You want me to buy the papers, the public, the pollution of the springs, the whole pollution of this town. And make a hero out of me for that. But I am not the hero. I am the enemy. And now you're first going to find out what kind of an enemy I am. I will sharpen my pen like a dagger. All you friends of the people, are going to bleed before I'm done. Go! Tell them to sign their petition. Warn them not to call me when they're sick. Beat up my children. Never let her in the school again, or she will destroy the immaculate purity of the vacuum there. See to the barricades, the truth is coming. Ring the bell, sound the alarm! The truth is out, and soon it will be prowling the streets like a lion.
You're out of your mind.
Don't you say that.
Out of here! Out! Captain, listen, children. We are besieged. They call for blood now.
but Tom, what about the city?
No,
We're staying? But what about the children? I won't let them out of the house. They can't go to school.
we're staying.
Good.
We must be careful. We must live through this. Kids, no more school. I'm going to teach you, and Peter will. Captain, may we use your house?
Sure, I'm never there.
Fine. When we get Peter, turn out not taxpayers and newspaper subscribers, but free and independent people hungry for the truth. Oh, I forgot. Call Grandpa and tell her. No.
What does that mean?
It means that we are alone. That it will be a long night before it's day.
It sounds like half the town is out.
I don't know. But remember now, everyone. We are fighting for the truth. And that's when we're alone. And that's what makes us strong. We are the strongest people in the world. And the strong must learn to be lonely.